Support comes from Mosby Building Arts, designing custom bathrooms that fit every personal style. More at callmosby.com.
From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Thursday, February 20th. I'm Abby Larico. Musician Martha Redbone draws on influences from Black and Native American folk styles to explore the roots of American music.
Being from Harlan County, Kentucky, we had everybody there, just a plethora of styles of music in those hills. And I think that the reflection of that is really deep in my bones.
STLPR's Jeremy Goodwin talks with Redbone ahead of tomorrow's concert in St. Louis. That's coming up after this news on The Gateway. The Gateway Arch Park Foundation has unveiled a plan for the long-vacant Millennium Hotel site downtown. STLPR's Eric Schmid reports on the Cordish Company's proposed $670 million redevelopment.
The project would completely reimagine the 4-acre site with over 1 million square feet of upscale residential and office space, plus amenities like an amphitheater, food hall, and improved streetscape. It adds to the Cordish Company's downtown portfolio, which includes Ballpark Village. Mike LaMartina is the president of Ballpark Village and oversees the St. Louis market for the Cordish companies.
This is really an opportunity for us to take a hold of something substantial and create mixed use that acknowledges living, working, leisure, public space, all of these in one site.
LaMartina says a key part of the proposed project is making it easier to walk between the Arch Grounds and Busch Stadium. He says it could help spur more riverfront development. I'm Eric Schmid, St. Louis Public Radio.
The developer will seek approval of their proposed plan before the city's Land Clearance for Redevelopment Authority Board next Tuesday. You can see renderings of the reimagined site at stlpr.org. Democratic U.S. Representatives Wesley Bell and Nikki Budzinski met with the Terminal Railroad Association and Bi-State Development yesterday to discuss concerns about recent federal funding cuts to infrastructure projects in the St. Louis region. Bell says it was the first meeting between the two groups.
We have some great industries doing some great work, and I think that it's important that we do everything that we can to support that from our positions in D.C., but also how we can work together right here.
The U.S. Department of Transportation recently paused funding, impacting several bridge projects that rely on millions of dollars from the federal government. That includes the MacArthur Bridge that connects St. Louis and the Metro East. Budzinski says they're currently working in Congress to try to safeguard grants that have already been awarded. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the state needs to live within its means as he rolls out a state budget proposal. The proposed budget for the next fiscal year calls for $55.2 billion in spending. In his State of the State address yesterday, Pritzker said he expects revenue to grow more slowly in fiscal year 2026.
As always, I stand ready to work with members of the General Assembly to deliberate and negotiate the final budget. But let's be clear, I will only sign a balanced budget. If you come to the table looking to spend more, I'm going to ask you where you want to cut.
Pritzker also says he's committed to building up the state's rainy day fund, funding public schools, and improving services for Illinoisans. Metro East Republicans say they liked the start of Governor Pritzker's budget address, but then they say it took a turn for the worse. STLPR's Will Bauer reports local GOP lawmakers say they are skeptical of the governor's proposal.
Representative Amy Ellick of Godfrey serves as the assistant minority leader for House Republicans. Ellick says she didn't like Pritzker comparing the Trump administration to following the path of Nazi Germany. She does appreciate a more moderate budget proposal, but she's anticipating House Democrats will be a roadblock.
They're going to want to fund programs that he's actually zeroed out in here. And it's going to be a problem. And those could be bargaining tools for him.
One of the biggest proposed budget cuts came in a health care program for some adults that don't have legal immigration status. Ellick expects House Democrats may bargain with the governor and try to bring that program back. The problem for Ellick and her colleagues, it's tough to negotiate in the super minority. In Springfield, I'm Will Bauer, St. Louis Public Radio.
The 86-year-old Kansas City area man charged with shooting a black teenager who mistakenly rang his doorbell has died. Just last Friday, Andrew Lester pleaded guilty to second-degree assault for twice shooting Ralph Yarl, who was 16 at the time. Lester was originally charged with first-degree assault and armed criminal action. A plea bargain meant he could avoid a trial. Lester was supposed to be sentenced next month, and District Attorney Zach Thompson said he was planning on asking for 5 years in prison. Jarl is now a freshman at Texas A&M and was at the hearing last Friday. President Donald Trump has nominated former Missouri GOP Chairman Ed Martin to be the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. As STLPR's Jason Rosenbaum reports, Martin's return to the spotlight is also shining a light on his past comments about immigration.
Martin had a lengthy tenure in Missouri politics, including runs for Congress and Attorney General. He was aligned with the Tea Party movement and in 2015 called for a pause on all immigration.
We've had plenty, and now is a good time to pause.
St. Louis University law professor Lauren Bartlett says Martin's time in Missouri politics should give lawmakers from both parties pause.
It's on us from Missouri to bring these things to the surface and say, look at this person who's now your U.S. attorney. Look at the things he's said.
Martin did not return repeated requests for comment. He will need U.S. Senate confirmation to permanently serve as D.C.'s U.S. attorney. I'm Jason Rosenbaum, St. Louis Public Radio.
The snow has stopped falling, but frigid temperatures have set into the St. Louis, Rolla, and Quincy areas. The National Weather Service warned of wind chills as low as negative 20 degrees last night, and a cold weather advisory is in effect until noon today. St. Louis has an expected high around 15 degrees for Thursday, but those wind chills could feel like 15 below zero. The Weather Service is encouraging people to seek shelter, as exposure to extreme cold can lead to frostbite in less than 30 minutes. We should see a relative warm-up this weekend, though, with sunshine and a high near 40 in St. Louis Saturday and temperatures close to 50 degrees Sunday. Martha Redbone traces the history of American music through her own family lineage of Native American and African American people from Kentucky coal country. She's a storyteller, theater artist, and musician who brings her Martha Redbone Roots project to the Sheldon tomorrow. STLPR's Jeremy Goodwin asked Redbone how she describes her unique blend of influences.
American roots music, because it embodies the foundation of American music, which stems from, the blues and Native American traditional Southeastern influences, and the combination of this music that came from all the people who came to this country and brought all the music from their homelands.
I have mental joy and mental health and mental friends and mental wealth.
Being from Harlan County, Kentucky, coal country, we had everybody there from every nationality and just a plethora of styles of music in those hills. And I think that the reflection of that is probably really deep in my bones.
Your earliest records are much more recognizable as funky soul music. Was there a moment where you decided to more overtly plumb the history of Native American and Black American folk styles?
Yes, I think that what inspired me to make this American Roots project was the fact that my partner, Aaron Whitby, and I became parents. So immediately you want your children to know who they are and where they come from, and their grandparents and their great-grandparents and the culture. Some people do it through food, some people do it through language, and as musicians we decided to honor our family through song.
I went to the Garden of Love.
The Garden of Love, Songs of William Blake, was the very first Roots record that we decided to do.
Well, so much of what you do is so personal in terms of your own experience, your family history. So what's William Blake got to do with it?
Well, my partner, Aaron, is a Brit. So let's start there. Sure. He's a Londoner, and he was born and raised in the same area that William Blake used to walk around, and also we're both William Blake fans. You know, we love the poetry. We studied it in school. And then I thought I was done with that. And then lo and behold, in college, there he goes again.
What should folks at the Sheldon expect Friday night? What's in the set these days?
We're going to take folks at the Sheldon to church. We're going to take them to church. We're going to bring them to the mountaintop and have them hooting and hollering with church claps. I might even have them sing, because the music that we do is congregational. So we're all just having a great time on stage. And we say we take you to the mountaintop, and then we send you back home all warm and fuzzy.
He says, if I do not worship him for a God, I shall eat course of food and go where I shall.
That was musician Martha Redbone speaking with St. Louis Public Radio's Jeremy Goodwin.
You must do Mr. Devil just as God please.
The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Theme music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Abby Larico, and from the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, this has been The Gateway.